Okay. This hat says Ecole Electric, and you can see it. Well, it's EECOL, electric, and it doesn't exactly say what I always say. I mean, I always think of this as my Echo hat, ECCO. It's not quite. I mean, it's a little bit different of a word, but sometimes I've got to stretch it. But ECHO is Earth Coincidence Control Office, and this is almost like école, which is the French word for school. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep my hair from ruining my look. But I guess we're at this school, and we're about Earth Coincidence Control Office, which is an office of beings that um, are there to create coincidences in your world. Okay. My birth name is Robert, and my surname is Burrows. So the short form of my first name is Rob Burrows, and it sounds very much like Ourobouros, like Rob Burrows, Ourobouros. Maybe you don't see it. Rob Burrows. Rob Burrows. Ourobouros. 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 What is it? It's the symbol of a snake eating its tail. Okay, the lecture is about alchemy because the Ouroboros symbol is about alchemy. Alchemy, if you think of mythology, it was long time ago, people were trying to turn lead into gold. So alchemy was like a predecessor to chemistry and a predecessor to um, nuclear. I don't know exactly what the name is, but I mean, if you've got a nuclear reactor, you can take one element and add protons and neutrons to it, and you can change it from one element to another kind of element, which is, lead into gold kind of thing, changing an element into another element. But, this was not exactly the kind of alchemy that a real alchemist was interested in. But it was basically to perhaps cover their tracks because the average Joe loved gold, and if they could, take a base metal, a cheap metal, and turn it into gold, they could make a lot of money. So, what are you working on? We're working on, creating gold. Oh, that's a good idea. You better go and see about that. But it also might have been to attract interest of new students because, I want the gold, I want the gold, I want the gold. And so a lot of the symbolism that they look at that they would use these sort of chemical symbols. And so it was a great cover story. It was a way to attract attention, but in the end, it had nothing to do with the element, the metal gold or lead. It has everything to do with I can't put it into a few words. You want a lecture on alchemy? I'm going to say changing ego into spirit. Ego is very difficult to explain because there's more definitions of ego depending on, who your school of thought is. But If you think of the seagull, or some cartoon of the eagles, the seagulls, and the seagulls were going, mine, 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 mine. You know, that's ego. Everything is mine. So if you think about, a child who hasn't been educated, they don't know how to share. So everything is mine, 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 mine. I don't know, 2 years old, 2 or 3 or something. Mine, it's mine, it's mine. You take it away and they start screaming and crying and they have a horrible meltdown. There's a lot of adults like that. They have major meltdowns when things are taken away from them. So that's your first lesson in alchemy. This is always difficult for me because I always get corrected. It has to do with attachment. And are you unattached, disattached, attachment. Attachment to things is karmic. If you are really attached to things, and also behaviors, you're attached to behaviors, you're attached to going down to the pool hall and playing pool every night. That's a behavior, and that is actually a karma. Good karma and bad karma? I'm not going to say. But it's part of your personality, so it's part of your karma. Ourobouros. It's the serpent swallowing its tail. So it looks like a big zero. Alchemy. Changing base metal into gold. So you're taking something that's cheap and easily available and not worth anything or very much at all, and you're changing it into something of great value. So if we're using that, is it a simile or a metaphor? Metaphor is with like or as, or is it the other way around? This is the trouble. Okay, so this is my example. If you're changing lead into gold, if you're working with elements, if you're working with your person, I'm going to say you're going to do alchemy with yourself. You're changing ego into spirit. Because, well, this is why you've got to get a lot of students interested in making a lot of money, because no one is going to think that spirit is more valuable than your ego, your personality. Your personality needs and wants is what drives this whole world. It's the old saying was keeping up with the Joneses. The Joneses bought a new car. I got to buy a new car. They got a bigger house. I got to get a bigger house. The grass is always greener on the other side. Donald Trump has got his, what's that thing called, Mar-a-Lago or whatever in Florida, this resort for himself, his personal. I got to have a personal resort for myself. I'm just not going to be happy in this life unless I'm as rich as Donald Trump or the Prince of Persia or the Queen of England. So that's how new students come in. It's like, do you want to learn prosperity consciousness? Learn how to... Okay, so that's how people come in. And that's how, that's what the sign, that's what the shingle says. If I'm going to hang up my shingle, it's going to say prosperity. So you're going to come and you're going to, I got to have prosperity. You're offering prosperity lessons. Yes, let's do it. And look at, very deep into it, and you learn all about mind and programming of mind and all kinds of things, buzzwords, lexicons, vocabulary, and you're way into it, and then you start wondering, well, I know I'm learning all this stuff, but now when are we going to get to the point where I'm going to buy a huge lot and I'm going to build a castle on it, and then I'm going to have a moat, and I'm going to have a sailboat and a rowboat in my moat, and I'm going to have a huge staff of thousands to clean my shoes. The point is, once you get so far into it, when you stop and ask your question, I've been learning about all this stuff, and where's my yacht? Where's my castle? You're already hooked. You're already hooked. So if you see a sign that says the Millionaire Mind Seminar with T. Harv Eker, you can go, and if you go and take your one course, you don't need to, because all the stuff that he talks about, you can get at the public library. But if he's generated some interest in the idea that somehow it's in consciousness that you can create a millionaire mind, then he's planted a good seed, because the seed is that it's in your mind. And that's the whole takeaway of my talk here today, is everything is in your mind. Now, some people say that we are actually three-minded beings: the brain and the head, the heart, and the gut. And you can go look it up in your search engine on the internet and find out there's so many neurons in your gut and your heart, and a lot of neurons in your brain and your head. So which brain are you going to work with? Different teachings talk about different parts of your body that you work with. Someone who works with maybe chi is going to say it's your belly. It's your belly down here. It's your hara, H-A-R-A. Somebody else might talk about, I don't know, what they're going to do with your head, your brain, and your heart. When I'm talking alchemy, for me, it's about my heart. My heart is what I always think of as doing alchemy, because it's always, it's you draw a heart, it's the little cherubs, little angels called cherubs, that they're going to shoot an arrow through your heart for, love, romantic love. But I still think of it that way. For me, when I'm thinking of alchemy, because that's where I feel it. If I feel something in my stomach, I don't like it. I don't like a really full stomach I don't like big meals in a big full stomach. I don't like that. And if more likely, I feel queasy. If I feel queasy in my stomach is saying there's something wrong. And I take it to mean someone is connected to me incorrectly. I always feel that the best place to connect to a person is in their heart. So what does it mean to be connecting to other people? Well, I get the feeling that people connect to other people based upon other places besides their heart, and quite often it's the lower chakras. So anything below your heart, people connect to you there. I feel queasy and I don't like it. Why do they do that? Well, probably they don't know how to connect to your heart or to anywhere else. They know how to connect to your... So if you think of someone who is sex sells, right? So on The Price is Right, they always have the beautiful Diane. Or on Wheel of Fortune, what's her name? Vanna White. So it's like, they put a beautiful woman there, or car commercials, they've got beautiful people. Not always, but especially in the past, they always would put beautiful models next to the item that they want to sell, because sex sells, and they're trying to link a sexy thing to, you know, a car. How do you make a car sexy? You put a sexy woman there. So everything to do with makeup, fancy gowns, lipstick, phony eyelashes, perfumes. These things are all designed to hook you at your lower chakras, primarily your second chakra, your sex chakra. And I don't like being hooked there. It just feels icky to me. I don't like it. Anything at your heart? Do you like being hooked at your throat? No. It usually feels like someone's trying to choke me, trying to stop me from talking freely. Up here, I think it also depends on intent, because sometimes I feel like I'm getting like downloads into my crown chakra, which could be informational. Other times I feel like that someone's trying to rip my crown chakra right off my head, and I feel maybe dizzy and like really spacey. So I don't like that. That's not good. But even if someone's got bad intent, and if I can get it connected here, I can do alchemy. What does it mean? It means, I might feel it uncomfortable in here, but I know that if it's hooked here, my heart will transmute the energy. How do I know? Just experience. Years and years and years of experience. If it comes in here, doesn't feel good, I just sit with it. I sit with it, and it'll fix itself. Will it fix itself if it's in somewhere else? Usually what happens, consciously or unconsciously, it will, if someone connects to me low or somewhere else, it'll move. It's like my body moves it here, and then it deals with it here. So what is the heart doing? It's changing the vibration of whatever's connected to me. What do I mean by connected? In Hawaiian, these are known as aka cords, AKA, aka. And they're invisible connections between people. So if someone has sent you an aka cord, then you're connected to that person. You can have connections to places, to things, other people, your pets. And I think it's a way that you can get these kind of, like feelings, some intuitions can come that way. Feelings or just knowings of what's going on with another person, if you're very attuned to this. But if, someone has got not a good vibe, sometimes, you can cut the cords just by, imagining that if I make a scissor movement, I've cut a cord. Sometimes